Most diets fail, not because of laziness, but because human biology actively resists weight loss. When calorie intake suddenly drops, the body interprets this change as a potential survival threat. In response, metabolism slows down automatically to conserve energy and protect vital organs. At the same time, hunger hormones like ghrelin rise sharply, intensifying cravings and food-focused thoughts. These reactions are not flaws, but ancient adaptations designed to prevent starvation during scarcity periods. Modern dieting unknowingly triggers these defenses, making long-term weight loss feel exhausting and unstable. As effort increases, the body pushes back harder, creating cycles of restriction, relapse, and frustration. True fat loss succeeds only when strategies respect biology instead of forcing constant metabolic defense. Japan maintains one of the world's lowest obesity rates despite carbohydrate-rich traditional eating patterns. Rice noodles and snacks remain daily staples, yet widespread obesity never emerges across population. Gym culture plays minimal roles as daily life naturally integrates movement through transportation habits. Genetic differences fail explaining gaps because Japanese and Western populations share remarkably similar biology. Smoking rates also contradict simple health explanations, since prevalence remains higher than many Western countries. The real distinction lies within environmental design, shaping decisions automatically rather than relying on discipline. Japanese environments quietly guide eating, pacing movement frequency without constant conscious decision-making processes. Slimness, therefore, emerges as a passive outcome of systems aligned carefully with human biology. Habit 1. Train taste buds early. In Japan, food education begins early, teaching children to appreciate natural flavors through repetition. School meals emphasize whole ingredients, balanced nutrition, and calm eating without heavy processing influence. Repeated exposure trains taste buds, making sweetness, saltiness, and richness feel intense more quickly. This gradual shift reduces cravings because ultra-processed foods lose their exaggerated reward power. Research shows taste preference is flexible, shaped by consistent dietary patterns across developmental years. Lower sugar exposure recalibrates dopamine responses, making modest portions feel emotionally satisfying again. Rather than restriction, this method slowly adjusts reward pathways without triggering defensive hunger responses. Over time, taste retraining creates effortless moderation, where enjoyment rises while total intake naturally. Habit 2. Healthy convenience. Japanese convenience stores prioritize balanced meals, making nutritious choices easier than unhealthy options daily. This design removes decision fatigue because people select default foods without constant self-control battles. Behavioral science shows environments shape behavior more powerfully than motivation or nutrition knowledge alone. When healthy food is cheapest, fastest, and tastiest, adherence increases automatically without conscious effort. Japanese food systems reduce friction between hunger and nourishment, aligning convenience directly with biology. This approach prevents binge cycles because access never feels scarce, restricted, or emotionally charged. Instead of forcing discipline, systems quietly guide repeated choices, shaping long-term eating patterns. Slimness emerges passively when everyday environments support regulation rather than temptation overload constantly daily. Habit 3. Portion control without restriction. Japanese culture promotes eating until comfortable fullness rather than complete satiety during meals. This principle reduces overeating by respecting biological stop signals before discomfort appears naturally. Meals use smaller plates, bowls, and multiple dishes, creating satisfaction through variety, not volume. Behavioral science calls this unit bias, where people stop eating when portions appear complete. Smaller servings therefore reduce intake without triggering feelings of loss, deprivation, or control. The brain registers completion, visually making restraint feel automatic rather than forced by discipline. Because nothing is forbidden, psychological pressure around food slowly dissolves over repeated experiences. Portion awareness becomes intuitive, allowing consistent regulation without tracking calories, weighing foods. Habit 4. Sugar awareness. Japanese sugar intake remains significantly lower, creating calmer insulin responses across daily eating patterns. Desserts and beverages are smaller, focusing on flavor experience rather than excessive sweetness levels. Reduced sugar exposure retrains taste receptors, making natural foods taste richer over time gradually. Lower glycemic swings decrease cravings, preventing energy crashes that often drive overeating behaviors later. Smaller portions satisfy because dopamine responses normalize instead of escalating with constant sugar stimulation. Scientific evidence shows reducing sweetness increases sensitivity, improving satisfaction without needing larger quantities consumed. This strategy avoids restriction by adjusting reward systems rather than suppressing appetite forcefully constantly. Over time, awareness replaces craving, allowing moderation to feel natural, effortless, and sustainable long-term. Habit 5: Structured eating times. Meals in Japan follow consistent daily timing, which stabilizes hunger hormones and metabolic rhythms. Predictable eating schedules teach the body when fuel arrives, reducing anxiety-driven snacking urges. Hormones like ghrelin respond to routine, decreasing sudden spikes that trigger impulsive eating behaviors. Irregular meal timing confuses appetite signaling, often leading to overeating later during evenings periods. Structure reduces decision-making, load-freeing mental energy, and lowering reliance on willpower alone. When the body trusts consistent nourishment, it stops generating emergency hunger signals frequently unnecessarily. This predictability creates metabolic calm, supporting steady intake rather than chaotic grazing patterns daily. Regular meal timing, therefore, supports slimness quietly by aligning behavior with biological expectation signals. Habit 6: Natural daily movement. Formal exercise matters less when movement is built naturally into daily transportation routines, habits. Walking stairs and cycling activate constant low-level energy expenditure throughout ordinary life patterns. This movement increases NEAT, which burns calories without triggering compensatory hunger responses later frequently. Unlike intense workouts, daily motion does not spike appetite or require recovery time afterward. Because movement feels normal, adherence remains high without motivation, guilt, or burnout cycles developing. Biology responds better to frequent gentle signals than occasional extreme stressors placed on tissues. Daily activity improves insulin sensitivity, circulation, and mood, supporting fat regulation indirectly over time. Slimness emerges quietly when bodies move, often without labeling it exercise as formal training. Habit 7: Slow eating. Japanese meals are eaten slowly, allowing fullness signals to reach the brain effectively. Chopsticks naturally reduce eating speed, increasing awareness of texture, flavor, and portion size. Satiety hormones require time to activate, preventing overeating when meals move at calmer pace. Fast eating bypasses these signals, leading to excess intake before fullness becomes noticeable. Slower meals improve satisfaction because the nervous system shifts into relaxed parasympathetic state. This state enhances digestion, nutrient absorption, and emotional contentment during eating experiences. Scientific studies link slower eating with reduced calorie intake without conscious restriction efforts. Over time, slow eating retrains appetite regulation, making smaller meals feel complete and rewarding. Habit 8: Respect the meal. Japanese culture treats meals as focused rituals rather than background activities during multitasking moments. Eating while walking, scrolling, or working is discouraged because attention shapes appetite regulation processes. Mindful meals increase sensory awareness, allowing the brain to register satisfaction earlier and fullness signals. Distraction delays satiety signals, causing people to eat beyond physiological need during distracted states often. Focused eating shifts the nervous system toward parasympathetic dominance, supporting digestion and nutrient absorption efficiency. This state improves hormonal feedback loops, governing hunger, fullness, and portion termination responses naturally consistently. When meals are respected, overeating declines without tracking rules or conscious restraint efforts required daily. Respecting meals trains awareness, making regulation automatic instead of effortful willpower-driven control strategies constantly. Habit 9: Identity-based eating. In Japan, eating reflects identity balance, respect, and long-term care for bodily systems. Food choices express values rather than temporary goals like weight loss or appearance metrics. There is little diet mentality, meaning no cycles of restriction, guilt, and rebound eating. Behavior aligns with identity, making consistency effortless without constant monitoring rules, tracking numbers daily. Psychology shows identity-based habits persist longer than outcome-focused motivation-driven strategies alone. When people see themselves as balanced eaters, decisions follow automatically across contexts daily consistently. Slimness becomes a secondary effect of alignment rather than a pressured objective pursued constantly. This mindset reduces stress, allowing physiology to regulate appetite, weight, and energy naturally smoothly. Western cultures emphasize willpower, believing discipline alone determines long-term body weight outcomes. This approach frames failure as personal weakness rather than predictable biological resistance mechanisms. Japanese culture instead prioritizes environmental design shaping choices before conscious decisions occur. Systems reduce friction, so healthy behaviors repeat automatically without motivation, pressure, or mental struggle. Behavioral science confirms environments influence habits more reliably than knowledge or intention alone. When defaults align with biology, regulation happens passively, without constant self-control demands. Small, repeatable behaviors accumulate, creating stability instead of dramatic, unsustainable lifestyle overhauls. Slimness, therefore, reflects system alignment rather than moral strength or extraordinary personal discipline. Japanese slimness is not created by secret foods, extreme workouts, or short-term dieting tactics. It emerges from quiet habits that remove friction, regulate hunger, and support biological rhythms daily. These habits align environments, routines, and identity with how the human body naturally functions. When systems work correctly, the body no longer defends against weight loss aggressively or anxiously. Hunger stabilizes cravings, soften, and energy regulation improves without constant conscious effort required. Slimness becomes a side effect of living within supportive structures, not an exhausting primary goal. This reframes health as design rather than discipline, shifting responsibility from individuals to systems. Change your structure and behavior follows, allowing biology to cooperate instead of constantly resisting.